Sorry for the delay. Unfortunately, this is a fairly large package, so it may take a couple minutes. I do apologize. Okay, now that we've actually successfully got into the game, uh, we can begin. Just for the record, we will be jumping in testing mode, which is what this is. Uh, to test functionality, make sure everything lines up correctly. Okay, welcome to the morgue level of the Temple of the Phoenix. All these trash bags are going to be fully interactable along with certain objects, like these, for example, and health. The light to the vending machine turns on and off with the fuse box here, which controls the light switch as well. We have a storage trigger as well. Then we have our lab. First, it is a key story plot in the game. Right now, we're collecting them and adding them to inventory. And as you can see, we have a key lock system already integrated within the package, an experience system, virus collection as well, bottled water, coffee cups, blood logic interface. Within this, it does depend upon how many virus samples that you have. Now, in production, this game will support both keyboard and mouse and game controller. There is one small technical glitch that we keep having, is that the collision between the light switch and the door keep overriding. As you can see, that is a empty room. I do not believe that room is built yet. Also, all these lights are controlled by the fuse box. They do not turn on before the fuse box is activated. That was not intentional. Sometimes this game does run a little slow. This is the unfortunate reaction of hosting all the game files on one system. It tends not to run successfully. We are running everything in 4K. This is going to be the elevator. We go around. Oh, look at that. We have a blood splatter. Wonder what that's about. Now, the basic principle here is going to be this is one of the rooms where the contaminated virus has taken over, and essentially the patients here went berserk and okay. Now that we have all that done, we are going to work on this. We don't quite know why don't know why the floor isn't showing up correctly. That probably is an internal glitch. We're on epic. We're going to drop it down to medium. Actually, we'll go to high. And this is only because we're streaming and it's taking a lot of resources, causing the game to lock up. Uh, so we're just going to drop the quality down a little bit just so we can manage it. What we're doing right now, which is an old programmer trick, since this wall, or this whole room actually, is going to come over to the other side as well. So we're going to unlit that so we can see it. Okay, so we have here is the basics of a room. We'll do that, line this up. Walls, for example, um, at least in my level, you'll have a lot of these little sections here are part of the separating wall. So what I'm doing is I'm actually creating gaps wide enough to actually put walls that don't coexist with them. So we put it like here, um, which actually is a good thing because it creates a different perspective whenever you're walking the room. Now, even though the floors are going to be the same, the walls are going to be the same. I mean, everything, relatively speaking, is going to be consistent. But when you walk into the room itself, it's going to look different because of the way it's lined out and where the walls are located versus where the walls are located in this side. Oop, we forgot something. Looks like the wall isn't fully connected yet, which is fine. What we will do is we'll line up the floor to the wall and then we will move the wall with the floor and line it up where it should go. Just double checking. Okay, so it looks like that's good. And then we'll come over here and close the gap. Gap looks good. Gap looks good. Now what we'll do is we will take that. Now there's a benefit of doing it this way is for one, when you have a style like these panels, for example, they are a pain to actually set materials down because there's two types of materials. There's the black line that goes across, and then there's the internal. What we're doing here is we're copying it from one room, and then we drag it over to the other room. Okay, from there, we're going to line it up with the other side. Looks good. Now, when I first started developing, I was pretty crazy about making sure everything lines up exactly. Um, Now, that's all well and good, but when you are making out levels, the appearance of the level is a lot more important than making sure everything lines up, like the wall lines up with the other wall and so on and so forth. Over the months, and even years I began doing this, I started realizing that the reality of it is it really does not matter as long as your player can't see it. Okay, so if you have like multiple objects and they're coalescing with each other and you start getting artifacts, that's one thing that does happen. Um, and you saw what an artifact looked like when we were moving the ceiling from one side of the room to the other. Once you're inside another object, you'll start seeing them fight with each other to be viewed. Um, Artifacting is not something you want in a game. So when you build things out, make sure you have enough space to accommodate what you're trying to reach. But let's say you have 15 wall pieces to make one room, okay? But two of the wall pieces extend beyond one of the other sections of the wall, okay? Well, you have one of two things you can do. One, you can spend hours trying to line them up exactly to function the way you want them to function. But here's the problem: the ceiling isn't going to match. So at one point, you're going to have to skew an object to make it fit. Or you create a box and the walls don't have to line up, they just have to cut off. So it blocks the character from actually progressing beyond the wall. The ceiling lines up, the floor lines up, but you have overlap. That's fine. Overlap is okay. As long as the character can't access it, it's okay. Now what we're doing right now is we're moving the switch with the light. And the reason why is so we have logic. Because there's already logic on the switch. And what we do from here is we take the light, put it where it needs to go. And again, you don't have to be exact. It just has to be in a general vicinity on where you're going. You're going to make changes. That's just inevitability. Um, the changes you're going to make. You're going to adjust where objects are located. You're going to make those kind of adjustments. Um, but that comes later. That comes in a situation to where you have everything lined up, and let's say you don't want the light on a certain section of the ceiling, you want it to where it lines up correctly. um, Prime example, we go back to lit mode. There's that. This is cinematic, by the way. It helps with the lighting of everything, because in certain sections of the engine, when you're running it in scaled mode, so I mean, you kind of have to move up to it, say, okay, that's great, that works, that doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. Now, this is where it gets fun. Okay, so essentially, what we have to do is we have to find this material that we're using on this wall, and we have to apply it to this wall. So the internal facing wall has the same material as everything else. This, what we're seeing, the white, is the default material. The best way to do that is if you look at element one, there it is, tile 06. Everything else are all custom materials. So what we do is we look for that. Boom, we got that. Click on it, make sure it's highlighted, and there you go. Do it again, again, and we go through. Okay, so here's what I was talking about. This right here, that's artifacting. Essentially, what that is one mesh is trying to fight for supremacy over the other mesh. Okay. There's a really awesome trick you can do. Can't see it anymore. And essentially, from a distance, because this is where your character is going to be. Your character is going to be about right here, and a little bit higher. Okay. So from a distance, you can't see the artifacting. That's because both materials are overlapping each other. Now, we have more artifacting. You could see that. Go in here, boom, artifacting's gone. And the artifacting is still there and it's still doing what it's doing, constantly going back and forth. But from a distance, you can't perceive that. Therefore, it's not a concern. This would be an overlapping wall, but we add the material, and now we look like we're in a room. Looks like the walls, branch off each other, and everything's copacetic. And we come in over here. And then we start in the basic layout of the level. And to be honest, this is a lot less time consuming than constantly putting more and more meshes down, reorganizing it into the viewpoint or the outliner and everything. The outliner is a totally different, you know, thing to mess with. do here is we grab this, bring it down. Okay, we got that. We got that, and you just line it up against the wall. Essentially, it's all you're doing. Now, what I like doing is I like going beyond the wall, and then what we do is we reorganize it, go to like the very top of the room to where you can see the down angle, and we bring it about here, about there. Experience, we have three of them here. We could sit here and click on every object. Mind you, there are multiple objects in that case. Okay, so it's not just one thing. Okay, so either A, you do it with every one of them and then you drag them over, and you can vary this. That's one blueprint. You have to make sure accidentally click the main object and you'll not work. Or okay, we got that, and we got that. Okay, now what we have is an exact replica of Scoot, and we take it to the other room, line up against the wall. Now we'll spin it around. So about there. And say about there. Copy it again. Copy it again. Bring it over. Copy it again. And bring it over. Now, the important part is we got everything in here. We can make adjustments as needed, like that, for example. It's a little close. Grab that, 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 and that. Remember, we're not searching for perfection here. So I don't want it all the way against the wall. We just need enough room to clear that and make it to the, and that we're good. Okay. Okay. So grab that guy, grab that guy, grab this and this. And then we bring it down. Looks good. Looks good. And looks good. Now, this is going to be a little bit more difficult because we have a lot of things here. Not there. And we have effectively moved them. Which I believe we are doing against the other one. Wall. Yeah, we are. Okay, we'll grab that. Grab that. Make sure I didn't move that floor. What we're doing right now is we're just populating the because you don't want it bare, at least not in this section, where people would hang out. You know, essentially, what we would do is we would add characters. What we're going to do is add characters sitting in the chairs. Um, and spread this out. And lastly, we save. Switch to viewport mode. All right, that's all for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed this session. We will pick it up in a couple days.